Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Spending more time at home? Don't forget that 94.5 ESPN's on your smart speaker. Just ask Alexa to open 94.5 ESPN. 94.5 ESPN on Alexa is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith here. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. The biggest sports stories of the week.
I feel like you might be there too, and a lot of people might be there when it comes to it's the right time to see what Jordan Love has to offer and make a move. And I'm so far from there still.
Unique and compelling analysis and opinions when it comes to your favorite teams.
Jason, I feel like it's one of those movies where like people know the future of like how they're gonna die and like they're doing everything to try to not do that. That's how I feel like this whole thing has been for 15 years.
This is Sunday Karma.
Your sports fandom has set you up like that once you put your heart into something, it gets crushed.
Yeah.
So that's why you're emotionally unavailable. I just saved you a lot of therapy.
I hope my lady friend is listening to this. Baby, there it is. Craig
Yeah.
just helped
It's not
solve
his
all
fault,
my problems.
right?
It's not my fault.
Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue. Here's GKB founder and CEO, Craig Karmazin.
I never knew you were shy. Where in the world is Kyle Wallace?
You said me being shy?
Wait, I see you.
You said what?
Wait. I see you. I'm watching the live stream, and I figured you were like too shy, and that's why you weren't in the studio today. But I'm looking on Twitter. I didn't know how to find. So this is the first time I've been on video, on this live video, so I even showered today. It says, check us out on video. We're now streaming every day. All of your favorite ESPN Wisconsin shows are live on video every second, every show, every day. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and on WisconsinOnDemand.com. Watch live or on demand. Listen, look, live, local at ESPN Milwaukee. So I was about to, wow, we lost 3 viewers since we started. Man, we had 21 people watching before we were on, and now that we're on, we only have 18.
Yeah.
But I'm watching you. Wait, where are you?
I'm down in Florida.
So how do we have
second home, Craig?
How do we have a camera on you in Florida?
This vMix system we got is outstanding.
Wait, I don't understand. So the equipment that allows you to get on the remote broadcast with us has a camera on it?
No, it's called my computer.
Oh, okay. So you just open up your computer and you're talking in your computer, and that's how we're seeing you. And I have it up on ESPN Milwaukee's Twitter. So that, to me, was the easiest way to find it. I just pulled up ESPN Milwaukee's Twitter, and then, I'm one of the, 34,400 followers to ESPN Milwaukee Twitter, and there you are. And I could see DJ also, but I don't know, it randomly now DJ, who's producing today, does it just decide when to put you on there, or do you decide when you get to be on there? How's that work?
It's got a little rotator on there, so it'll, after about 15 seconds, rotate between cameras.
And so when you talk, does it especially know?
No. It just rotates at time.
Oh, okay. So, all right, Kyle. So you're down in Florida. You were there to watch the Bucks and the Heat yesterday. You weren't at the game, but you just felt like you needed to be in Florida. So the Bucks. No, that's not what happened.
No, I felt like I need to bring the Bucks energy down here, but I brought the wrong thing down here. I wore my Bucks hoodie on the plane. I wore a Bucks hoodie out last night, and then I felt embarrassed.
Well, you know what I always say: the Bucks can't win in 6 unless they lose 2 games. So for it to be Bucks in 6, you need to lose 2 games, and the Bucks have done that in games 1 and 3 of this first round series against the Heat. And by the way, today we'll talk to Jason Wilde, so we'll get up to date on Aaron Rodgers and the NFL draft. We'll talk about the National League leading, not just NL Central leading, National League leading Milwaukee Brewers. Yeah, we will absolutely touch on that. But where we start is with the Milwaukee Bucks, who this series feels a lot like a series we've seen before. Kyle, is this reminding you of any series that in recent memory for the Milwaukee Bucks?
Definitely not the Hawks series.
It's exactly the Hawks series.
No, it's not. It's not.
Now, it's funny you say that. Definitely not the Hawks series, because instantly, obviously, it put the Hawks series in your brain, and the Hawks series is in my brain. So why are you saying definitely not the Hawks series?
The Bucks just seemed like they were – I had more confidence in that series that the Bucks were going to be able to step up and find a way to win.
You did not at the time.
Like
come on now.
No, I did. Giannis is coming back in this series.
Right. So now the series we're talking about was the 2021 Eastern Conference Finals, where the Bucks lost Game 1 at home to the Atlanta Hawks. Now, this wasn't a 1-8 series at the time, but the Hawks were also an 8 seed, right? Weren't they an 8 seed? Because
I feel like they were like a 5 seed.
Yeah. Actually, you're right. They were the 5 seed, exactly, because the Knicks were the 4, the Hawks were the 5, and then the Hawks beat the Knicks in the 5-4, and then the I was thinking that the Bucks were, but that makes sense, because that means the Sixers were the 1 seed that year, which is accurate, and the Hawks beat the Sixers in the 5-1. The Bucks had advanced by sweeping the Miami Heat at a time where I don't think a lot of people thought they were going to do that, and a lot of people thought the Heat were going to win that series because the Heat had beaten the Bucks in the bubble the year before. And then the Bucks, as a 3 seed, had to upset the Brooklyn Nets, which they did in 7 games in overtime in Brooklyn. So then they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, and all of a sudden the Bucks were favored, and the Hawks were seemingly no match for them. And then Game 1, the Hawks beat the Bucks, similar to this series. Game 2, the Bucks rebounded and won big. Game 3 was when the Bucks actually on the road won, and in that game, I believe Chris Middleton had a monster fourth quarter. Then it was Game 4 when they came out. They were losing early. The Hawks did not have Trae Young, and then the Bucks ended up losing Giannis, and they never made it back. And Game 4 of that series at Atlanta was a lot like Game 1 of this series against the Heat. And to me, this series has a lot of the feel of that series, especially given the fact that Tyler Hero is hurt, the way Trae Young was hurt in that series. Jimmy Butler obviously looks a little banged up after yesterday, and Victor Oladipo, we would expect will not play again. And thoughts out to Victor Oladipo, who worked so hard to get back, and we know what a great player he's been and was getting back to being, and sad to see that injury late in the game yesterday. But with all of that being said, it feels to me a lot like that series. So, Kyle, I just don't get what your extra levels, and I get being concerned. Of course, it's the playoffs. You're 2 games away from your season being over. But why do you have less confidence today than you would have had 2 years ago?
I just think there's something about Jimmy Butler, and there's just something in general about this series and the way that Giannis got hurt early on. Chris didn't play throughout the season. I just have so many concerns about the fact that I don't think the Bucks can win this series without Giannis coming back and playing.
800-990-ESPN. It's 800-990-3776. So jump in on the text or talk line. Give us a call right now. Kyle's scared, and Kyle thinks the Bucks can't.
Boat raced.
Kyle does not believe the Bucks can win this series without Giannis. Now, we have reason to believe that Giannis will be back in this series. And the reason to believe that is that he was questionable for Game 2, upgraded from doubtful to questionable, ended up not playing, and then was questionable again for Game 3. So he was not listed as out for either of them. I will say the fact that he was questionable for both may give you pause, but the fact that Bud has said they've seen progress from him would make me feel somewhat optimistic. But what is your thought on this series, and if the Bucks can win this series with Giannis, and if the Bucks can win this series without Giannis? 800-990-3776. That's 800-990-3776. So, Kyle, you think the Bucks without Giannis lose this, in 7? You think they win their home game, or they lose it in 6, I guess you're saying, because you don't think they win on the road at Miami?
No, I didn't say all that. I didn't say that.
Okay, so if Giannis doesn't come back, if Giannis comes back, what do you think happens game 4?
Oh, Giannis comes back, the Bucks win.
No, Giannis is not back.
It's a must-win game.
Yep.
And I think the Bucks can win in Miami.
Okay.
My biggest concern is just Jimmy Butler goes off like he did in the first quarter yesterday in a game 7, and all of a sudden we find ourselves down by 15 points halfway through the second quarter.
Right, but that's
what I'm concerned about.
There's also the chance you don't get to a game 7 if the Bucks win in 6, which we've said is certainly a possibility. I mean, the game 4 is obviously.
You think the Bucks can win in 6 without Giannis?
Absolutely.
You think we can win 3 games in a row without Giannis?
Absolutely. I mean, with 2
based off what?
Based off the fact that the Miami Heat were an extremely inconsistent team this year, and the fact that Tyler Hero is out, Jimmy Butler is banged up, and the Bucks have a deep, really high quality team.
Who looked deeper yesterday, the Bucks or the Heat?
Heat bench outplayed the Bucks bench absolutely yesterday.
That's all I'm saying. That's why I think we should be legitimately concerned about what we saw. Tyler Hero was out, and they still beat us by 20.
John in Milwaukee, you're on Sunday Karma. Morning, John.
Hey, how you doing this morning?
So what do you think happens in the series?
I still like the Bucks' chances. It just, there are just so many head scratchers. Like, there's nobody who can really match up with Brook, and yet he's not even getting any touches. That's one thing that kind of frustrates me in the first quarter. The Bucks start off well, then just decide to kind of die. And why not go for Brook? Because he's not shooting these outside shots. He's in the middle. You can exploit that matchup, and yet they don't. That's the kind of stuff I don't understand.
John, do you know it's so funny? My friend was going to the game in Florida yesterday, and he said, "What do you think about the Bucks?" And I said, "They're going to play well because they're going to know they need to get the ball inside to Brook. And when they do that, either he scores or they move the ball and get open threes, and everybody gets involved." And what ended up happening was the opposite. And Drew Holiday had the most assists through 2 games of a playoff series of anybody in the last 10 years. Nobody's had 27 assists in the last 10 years in the first 2 games of a playoff series. And Drew had a great first quarter, but Drew had no assists in the first half. And I'm with you, John. It just felt like they didn't get into the game in the way you'd want them to get into the game. So Kyle, what do you think? Is the difference Brook?
I mean, in game 2, Brook came out early. They looked like they ran a little bit of offense through Brook, and we had a lot of success. Guys were hitting shots. I just don't know what I mean, maybe it's an adjustment Miami Heat made. I have no idea.
What, do you think they grew 4 inches?
Like
you think Bam Adebayo grew 4 inches? No, they don't have. I mean, Bam Adebayo is 6'9". Brook Lopez has 4 inches on him. Bam really
You're yelling at me. I'm a fan. You need to yell at somebody else, not me. I can't do that.
But I'm saying the idea that all of a sudden there was some adjustment. I mean, I think what happened was Drew just came out hot, right? Drew came out and was knocking everything down, and all of a sudden, we were feeling good about things until we look up, and the Bucks only scored 21 points in the first quarter, right? And you're like, wait, I thought we were on fire. I thought Drew was hitting everything.
Like 15-7.
Right, Drew was 4 for 4, and everything was looking smooth until you looked up at the end of that quarter, and what was it, like a 14-0 run? I think the Miami closed the first quarter. And that's what happened.
They went on a 22-2 run.
Yeah, and that's what happened.
Can't have that happen.
800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. Interesting point by John there. John's like, hey, Bucks should be fine. It's just, what are they doing? Right? What kind of head scratching from a veteran team to go away from what John saw as an obvious advantage for the Bucks in the low post with Brook Lopez. And I would say when you looked at that game yesterday, you had a bunch of turnovers by both Drew and Chris, but when the Bucks moved the ball, I mean, they got really good shots, didn't you think? And they were knocking them down
they
too.
did.
I mean, I don't remember a game where the Bucks were shooting as well as they were from three and losing by double digits, right? Because at the half, I'm like, wow, the Bucks are shooting 56% from three-point range, and they're also down by double digits because Miami was shooting over 60%.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of defensive breakdowns, turnovers. I'm still a little frustrated about the kick ball that wasn't a kick ball somehow, but
I mean, come on. I was
the ship on game 4.
I was mad about the kickball that wasn't a kickball that led to the Coach Bud ejection, or not, should have been ejection. I think he wanted to get ejected, and the refs were just embarrassed, so they just gave him the one technical. But I mean, you think if that gets called, the Bucks have a? Do you think they cut it to single digits? You think they? I mean,
no.
The one moment, and I don't want to pick on a specific possession in a game that was such a bad game. But by the way, I just saw it. When the Bucks were up 21-15, do you remember the play that happened? So, Bucks were up 21-15, as we said, early in that game. I mean, actually late in the first quarter. Bucks were up 21-15. Do you remember what happened on that possession?
That wasn't when Chris Middleton got ripped, was it? What happened?
No, it was Jimmy Butler had the ball in a pick and roll. He was being covered by Drew Holiday. They set a pick. Brook Lopez went on to him, and Brook Lopez went off of him, and Drew Holiday went off of him, and literally Jimmy Butler went in for an absolutely, completely uncontested dunk. Remember that?
Okay.
They were both.
I feel like I do recall.
They were both just looking at each other, and Jimmy Butler went in for a dunk, and Jimmy Butler then scored 12 points in a row. And so it went from 21-15, to 27-21 to end the first quarter. And that was the last time the Bucks led, and that was the last time the Bucks, you felt like, were in control and had their composure. But the other time where it felt like something was happening, the Bucks had cut it to 9 and were starting to play pretty well, and they rotated the ball around, and Jay Crowder had a little 5-foot, 6-foot shot in the lane that was would have cut the lead to 7 at that time, and it felt like they had contact with the Heat, and it was a it was a game still. And Crowder misses that shot. Heat hit a 3. It goes from being what would have been a 7-point game to being a 12-point game. And the rest was history. We'll talk more about it with you. We'll talk about the Packers and the draft upcoming this week. And as I said, the National League's best record belongs to the Milwaukee Brewers. When we continue, I'm going to ask Kyle this special way. Kyle has unlimited free flights all over the country for an entire year. DJ's looking at me like, where do I sign up for that? Kyle's got it. He's going to explain that to us when we continue. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. No one else does it like Scalzo and Brust.
Doesn't get a better home run call than that right there.
Can I just get the click of the bat over and over again? Like the audio, that's one of the best. I know we can do like the what's the best sound in sports thing. There's something about a click of the wooden bat right on the meat of the barrel.
Hit it! Can we get a cleanup here in the studio?
Days 4 to 6 on 94.5 ESPN. It's Scalzo and Brust, presented by Bud Light.
One call, that's all. When you think about the passion that you want brought to your teams, that you want brought to your community, that emanates from David Gruber and the Gruber family. Because, they're family-owned, nationally recognized. That's why one call, that's all, is not a marketing slogan. It is a way of life at Gruber Law Offices because it absolutely means the same thing it did over 30 years ago. It's why over tens of thousands of Wisconsinites have been helped. It's why you still don't pay unless you win. So if you're ever in that terrible situation, you're injured, you don't know who to go to, you have never been in this situation before, go to a family-owned, nationally recognized team that has been doing this over and over again for local Wisconsinites. That's right. It's Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
At least twice as big
as the one you gave her when you got engaged.
That's the definition of a big anniversary diamond.
Kessler's has lots of ways for you to go twice as big.
We have twice as big diamonds from Diamond Mines.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart of Mother Earth. And the ones that exist in the world today are all there will ever be.
Kessler's also has twice as big created diamonds.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart of a ball of lightning, a miniature star, inside a plasma chamber. It's a wonder to behold.
Kessler's also has twice as big flickering firelight diamonds.
These natural diamonds flicker with all the warm colors of firelight instead of the cold colors of ice. Flickering firelight diamonds are another wonder to behold.
And all of these twice as big diamonds are for her.
The best wonder to behold of all. Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, go to Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
Attention, attention. More superheroes are needed. Current Electric is growing and hiring service and commercial electricians, solar panel installers, and customer service representatives. Current Electric offers 5-star tech experience with training, coaching, and support, along with competitive pay and benefits. Apply at currentelectricco.com/careers. That's currentelectricco.com/careers. Current Electric has been serving Milwaukee since 1983 and is an equal opportunity employer.
Cedar Ridge Distillery continues to make a home right here in Wisconsin. The original 86 bourbon is the best-selling bourbon in Iowa for 3 straight years, and you have the opportunity to get that here in Wisconsin. Also, the quintessential, the best American single malt, voted by John Barleycorn Awards, and Cedar Ridge manages every step of the production from grain to glass. Make sure you pick up the Scalzo and Brust private barrel of bourbon and rye whiskeys, available at Discount Liquor at 51st in Oklahoma or Barstow and Maine in downtown Waukesha.
Looking for your next night out? Q Club of Wisconsin is the hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what you got going on over there, buddy?
Hey, Gary, there's so much going on here. We've got all your favorite teams on our TVs, more pool tables than you know what to do with, and live local bands playing on Saturdays. Plus, we got bocce leagues all summer long that we're signing teams up for right now. And, of course, our fish fry piled high on Wednesdays and Fridays.
And stop by for brunch on Saturdays and Sundays at 9 a.m. Check out QClubOfWisconsin.com.
We don't want you on our team.
You're not the right fit for this job.
You're too slow and fast.
Don't you care how you look?
Weight bias hurts. Go to StopWeightBias.com. A public service message from Obesity Action Coalition.
Show podcasts, team-centric feeds, and listening live whenever, wherever. All of that in the palm of your hand. The Wisconsin On Demand app, available in the Apple or Android App Store.
I keep going to the rhythm to play, 'cause I need something that can wash out the pain. And I know I'm sleeping all these years.
Sunday Karma with Greg Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Watching us live on Twitter as I'm checking out Kyle and DJ. I see him now. Was that a bedroom you're in, Kyle?
Wow, that's real personal.
Well, you have.
I'm in the dining room.
Oh, okay. It's yeah. That looks like a dining room. That's right. Okay, I just zoomed in on you. I feel that. Yep. Kyle down in Florida.
Zoom in on my face, Craig. Get closer.
I saw the vase. So, Kyle, you're down in Florida, and you are there on an unlimited travel pass that you have for the entire year that you paid less than $1,000 for. And this is not.
You don't have to upgrade.
This is not an advertisement, just for the record.
No, not at all, unless they're trying to pay me.
Yeah. So what happened?
So, Craig, you know me. I love a good deal. And I love to travel. And so around Christmas time, Frontier has something called All You Can Fly Pass. So what that meant was for $600 for an entire year, you can fly anywhere you want in America and in some Caribbean islands as well.
For $600.
There's a catch. For $600. Yeah, but the catch is this. you have to book your flight 24 hours in advance. So they basically are
No,
using
or
us to
less.
fill-
No, but it's 20. You have to book it
yes.
within 24 hours of the flight.
Very correct. Yeah, that is correct. But I took this trip because they wanted to show us some love, and those who are all-you-can-fly pass holders, they decided to let us book any flight we wanted between April 11th to April 20th to fly until May 24th, and we can book it, and we don't have to worry about that 24-hour rule.
So round trip, you were able to fly to Florida.
Round trip, I'm able to fly to Florida. I only paid taxes on the flight for $30.
So basically, you've paid for the full year because like flights to Florida are so expensive right now, right? So like I
don't know
feel like
why
you pay
fly to Florida. I don't pay $600 for no flight to Florida.
a round trip flight to Florida. I mean, well, I guess if you're flying from
No.
Chicago, were you flying from Milwaukee or Chicago?
Because I didn't want to deal with the delays, not the delays, the
Connection?
the stops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just flew out of Chicago.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I was gonna say if you're trying to fly Milwaukee to Chicago, it's usually like $500-600. So yeah, I guess it can be cheaper if you're flying from Chicago. So, but that's still and so you had to pay $30 extra for the taxes. Well, any other little fees? Any other little fees get you along the way?
Not at all. My bag. You got to understand how to travel. Like and shout out to my girl because she made sure we were good and we were fed. I told her, girl, you need to go buy us some snacks for this flight because we can't buy these snacks on the plane.
Okay.
We're not getting any bags because our parents live down here, so we didn't need to check bags, so we just had a backpack. And then I paid for parking in the tolls, and so we're all good.
Wow. So wait. So what other
No hidden
things?
fees.
So on Frontier, because they'll charge you for snacks, they'll charge you for bags, which are normal when it's a no frills airline, right? And so, what else do they charge you for? They're like if you want to lean your chair back, is that a little
Yes,
fee?
you want to lean your chair back. If you want a bigger a seat that actually has a bigger little food tray,
Yeah.
you got to pay for that seat as well. If you want
Oxygen?
to get on early, you can pay $7 to get on early. Yes, oxygen.
So like when they're like
I
oxygen
almost lost
masks
oxygen
in the
this got included.
if the plane's altitude changes, an oxygen mask will come down if you pay us $3 for the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, I would have paid you $3 for my oxygen mask.
Yeah. I know you're cheap, but certain things you don't want to pass up. Wait, so
I
were
like
you
to
serious? So the seat to recline, you pay a little bit more?
Yeah, no.
Or-
if you want
or
a
is that
better
just
seat,
bigger
you have to
leg
pay more,
room?
and it's like $48 for the seat.
Wait.
I think it's leg room and it reclines.
So like,
I wouldn't know because I wouldn't pay for it.
so you're saying like if you hit like the button on your seat, it won't recline because you didn't pay the money?
There's no button on the seat. Oh, you mean if you have the seat?
No.
My
So
seat
you're
can
saying your
recline.
seat doesn't have a button?
No, my seat doesn't have any. No, it barely has a seat rest, arm rest, I should say.
Does it have a place to put your head, or you gotta pay for a pillow if you want to lean your head back?
You better bring your own pillow. Listen, you gotta be self-sufficient when you fly in Frontier. You have to mentally prepare yourself for no frills, no internet, no TV. You better have the music on your phone ready. You better have a pillow coming with you, or try to get the window.
Wait. So I thought I flew on Frontier and there were some preset TV stuff. Maybe that was JetBlue.
It's been years.
No, that was JetBlue.
Frontier has not had TVs in 10 years.
Yeah, they used to have TVs though, right?
I think right when they started, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Wait, so no TVs. No, you can't buy the internet?
No, it's not even an option. The internet costs them money.
They don't have no
They're not even
dial-up?
offering.
No AOL?
They ain't got listen. They got your thoughts to yourself. Wrote a couple scripts. And also, I know we don't have too much time.
Now, if you want to try to get deep in thought, they're going to charge you for that?
They'll have to get in my mind for that. But Craig, can I just tell you?
Yes.
There were some women on the plane who were flying down to have a good time and party.
Yeah.
They had alcohol on the plane, and the conversations they had were the most inappropriate conversations I have ever heard in my life.
So that meant
I learned
you got your money's. That meant you got your money's
I
worth.
did.
Because if you had your headphones on watching some movie or something that you were streaming, then you wouldn't have gotten that entertainment value out of those ladies.
It was a reality TV show on Frontier. That's basically what it was. I wanted to say something to him, but like, man, this is too juicy and good to say something.
But I guess also you could download shows and watch them on your own ahead of time. Like you were saying, having your music. But if you had downloaded episodes of shows or movies, you could do that ahead of time too. All right, $600. So does that mean you're never going to be here because you're like every week, like the day before like our show, you'll just look and see what seats are open on planes and you'll just jump on a flight?
Listen, DJ, when you get married, DJ, you got some time, right? You got some time on Sunday?
I'll be here all summer. I got you.
All right, here we go. I'll be somewhere else next week.
Wow. Well, Jason Wilde is somewhere else. He's in Minnesota, but he's driving back from there. And it's draft week, baby. We got to catch up with Jason Wilde and find out what is going on with the Aaron Rodgers situation and a whole lot more because it's draft week and it's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Take me out to the ball game, roll out the barrel, and get up, get out of here, gone. There's nothing like Milwaukee baseball. The Brew Crew is back, and we're here to help you turn your tailgate or game viewing experience into a grand slam. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where since 1960 we have provided the best selection and the lowest prices. We stock literally thousands of varieties of beer, liquor, wine, and mixers. Over 15,000 actually, but who's counting? The point is, you want it, odds are we have it. Combine our incredible selection and everyday low prices with our 2 convenient locations, and you've got your one-stop shop for game day. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, only 10 minutes from AmFam Field, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Main.
Discount liquor.
Oh, it is Palermo's Pizza. And you think about a business that represents Wisconsin and is a reflection of the people. I don't know that there's anyone better than Palermo's because think about it. Palermo's, first of all, takes care of its employees. The benefits, the bonuses, the free pizza, they take care of their own. Second, they are still adding jobs in Wisconsin, putting new plants and new opportunities for people to grow their careers in Wisconsin. And then what are they doing? They are nourishing us, right? When you go to your grocer's freezer, you are looking for Palermo's Pizza. And not just Palermo's brand pizza, which we look for, but we look for Screamin' Sicilian because we love it. We look for Urban Pie because we love it. We look for Connie's. And then what also is that reflection of Wisconsin? The idea of innovation. That's right. So that's why they're the ones collaborating with Netflix. They're the ones creating pizzas off of the Stranger Things and shows you love on TV. It's why they are Wisconsin's hometown pizza, and it's why the only pizzas I will ever buy when I am going to the grocery store are a Palermo's Pizza, because Palermo's Pizza is Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
A big storm brewing? Don't miss it. It's Thursday Thunder this April at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. You could win a share of $400,000 in cash and prizes. Just play with your club card April 1st through the 27th, and you could be one of 50 winners each Thursday. Showers might bring flowers, but thunder brings the boom. Only at Potawatomi. More info at paysbig.com/thunder. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Hey, this is Bo stepping in for Ridgetop Larry. Ridgetop Exteriors is Wisconsin's #1 choice for roofing, siding, windows, and doors. We are the trusted local experts who live and work in the areas we serve, which means we're helping friends and neighbors too. On top of that, Ridgetop Exteriors offers the most affordable payment options, including no interest and low interest financing. For your free estimate, visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com.
Are you ready for summer? Cousin Subs and Summerfest are teaming up once again for the return of the world's largest music festival with a special ticket offer. Simply place an order online at cousinsubs.com of $30 or more now through April 30th and receive a free weekday Summerfest ticket. This offer is not valid in store. One qualifying purchase per day per email will result in a free weekday ticket. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. For a complete list of rules, visit cousinsubs.com/Summerfest.
I'm Ben Jewick with Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors. 2023 is our 135th year in business, making it the perfect time for our crew to help you create a workspace that will help you attract, retain, and grow your business. The office is the cultural hub of the organization. We can help with interior design, construction, new furniture, and move management. Like Milwaukee's baseball team, our crew excels at home and on the road. If your company has a national facilities footprint, we can hit for you in any ballpark. Championship organizations are built on teamwork and collaboration. Visit brothersinteriors.com to see how we can help your team win.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people with different political views and life experiences are coming together through the power of conversation, and it feels good. Hear more at lovehasnolabels.com/one-small-step. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
Spending more time at home? Don't forget that 94.5 ESPN's on your smart speaker. Just ask Alexa to open 94.5 ESPN. 94.5 ESPN on Alexa is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. You're listening to Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Jason Wilde is brought to you by Boucher Automotive, where we ride with you every mile. 18 dealerships, 15 brands, and thousands of vehicles in stock. Check them out at Boucher.com.
What a big sports day it is today, coming off a Bucks loss yesterday. 4 NBA games today. You'll hear them starting at 2:30, I believe it is, right here on ESPN Radio, where you're going to get the Kings and the Warriors at 2:30, then Celtics and the Hawks after that. Also, semis of FA Cup going on right now. Finals of the big golf tournament, the little team tournament in Zurich. All sorts of stuff going on, but nothing bigger in the world of sports this week, right? Even the NBA playoffs. Nothing is bigger, I got to admit it, than the NFL draft. And joining us to talk about that and a whole lot more is Jason Wilde, brought to us by Boucher Automotive. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Craig. How are you?
We are great. And, Jason, I feel like when we started on this Aaron Rodgers stuff after he declared that he was going to play and that he preferred to play and wanted to play only for the New York Jets, that we said there wasn't going to be much happening on that until the NFL draft, because that would be the time where, you know, things were kind of set in motion. And so now that we're at draft week, when should we expect the next movement around Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I do believe that it's going to happen this week. Maybe it happens on Friday before they kick off the second and third rounds on day 2 of the draft. But, you know, I think Aaron expects it. I think Joe Douglas expects it. I think a lot of folks are expecting it. I think the league is expecting it. You know, the one thing that I don't enough across all of our shows and on Wilde and Tausch is reminding folks that the commissioner actually stepped in 15 years ago when Brett Favre showed up at training camp and created that incredible hullabaloo where he flew in on his private jet and showed up at family night and people were booing Rodgers and everything that came with that. And I don't know if to this point Roger Goodell has necessarily...
And by the way, was the
in.
commissioner Roger Goodell, or who was the commissioner at that time?
No, I believe it was Roger Goodell.
Okay.
I guess, quite frankly, it feels like a long time ago, and yet it turns out it's not that long ago, but I'm pretty sure it was Goodell at the time. But I don't know if he's stepped in necessarily as much as maybe he's reminded people involved, perhaps, hey, we do not want this to go the way the Favre thing did 15 years ago. I don't want to have to step in training camp. So I would think that there is, you know, I don't want to say pressure brought to bear because that's too strong, but maybe gentle reminders from the league also saying, look, this doesn't do the league any good if you guys keep your heels dug in. So, you know, I think both sides, I talked about it all week.
Which, Jason, that's really interesting that you bring that up because, you know, and Goodell did take over in 2006, so that would have been very early in his commissionership. It's interesting that you bring up that because, you know, the Milwaukee Bucks now have, as one of their rotating governors, Jimmy Haslam, who is an NFL owner. And he did something that my understanding was not viewed very positively by the rest of the NFL owners, which was to pay Deshaun Watson as much guaranteed money as he did to become the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. But when you're an owner, you kind of like will just do it because you want it and you want a quarterback. Do you think Mark Murphy's in a different position as an administrator rather than and an executive rather than an owner of the team if the league were to step in and kind of give them that nudge?
Perhaps, but at the same time, like
because he's not. I guess, Jason, my point is the commissioner reports to the owners, but does the commissioner, does Roger Goodell see Mark Murphy as his boss the same way he would see the other owners as his boss?
No, it is interesting. They have a relation. I think Roger Goodell likes Mark Murphy to float trial balloons for him. So I think they've got a good working relationship. I'm sure he doesn't see him exactly the same as he would see a Haslam or, the Pagulas in Buffalo, et cetera. But I would say this, owners and teams can still tell him to take a hike. And that would include the Packers. Like, he can nudge, he can suggest, he can, tell them this is what we as a league want. But ultimately, it's still their franchise. And so my point is simply, my understanding is that it's important to Goody and to the Packers to get an asset in this year's draft. I do think that if they are going through this rebuild, to have a second-round pick from the Jets this year and then have another pick next year that they can put to use behooves them.
Oh, you sound like you're on the Jets payroll here. Come on.
I don't. I don't. That's not based on talking to people with the Jets, Craig.
But I mean, the idea that
I'm talking to other people.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder who you're talking to that thinks. I think he thinks he's worth a third-round pick, right? So I mean, come on now. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has won 2 of the last 3 MVPs of this league. I mean, that's a first-round pick if I've ever heard of a first-round pick. I don't understand how this could even be a debate.
Right. You're
Preach, Craig.
Been combative on this program the last couple times I've talked to you. I'm a little surprised by that.
It's not that. It's just it's why it's the thing that I just don't understand. I've never understood it about the NFL, where like these great players get traded for like 4th-round picks, and I've always thought people overrate draft picks in the NFL, and they always like you think about half these draft picks don't even work out. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, it's the siren song of potential. Right? Because you can have the 13th pick, and you can pick Aaron Donald, and he can become one of the greatest defensive tackles in history, like Aaron Donald has, who was the 13th pick in 2014. Or you can pick a guy who turns out to be like Justin Harrell, who was the 16th pick in 2007 and was absolutely horrible. So my point has been all week that there is a way for both sides to compromise to get this done in time for the draft. And my opinion would be for Goody to come off it has to be a flat first-round pick in 2024. And for the Jets, instead of making it, we have to make the AFC Championship game for you to get our first-round pick in 2024. If I was Goody, I wouldn't accept those terms either. I would say, look, you make the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers, we get your first-round pick. Done. End of story. Which I think is completely reasonable. We're not going to give you a pick in 2025 if he retires on you and doesn't play in 2024. And you don't have to make it all the way to the AFC Championship game to give us your first-round pick. You make the playoffs, that's our pick. And to me, that's a completely reasonable compromise on both sides.
And Jason, so you're saying it'd be like a second or third this year and then potentially a first next year?
Yes. Either 42 or 43 this year and then a first unless the Jets miss the playoffs next year. And I don't think that's unreasonable. He's 39 years old. He's going to turn 40 during the season. You're taking $60 million off the Packers' payroll for them, which everyone knows that was a terrible contract. Like, that was a colossal mistake. Even if Rodgers had been great last year, they still would have had to rework it had he been staying. So there are.
Wait,
there
and
are
Jason,
reasons
that's
why-
even with the salary cap continuing to go up. That wouldn't have been a contract that would have been workable.
No, if he had stayed, even Rodgers admitted they would have had to rework the contract. So they would have had to do all kinds of conversions and whatever else. And again, you're talking about a player that you no longer want. I agree with you in that I'm always amazed at how many good players are traded for piddly draft picks. Like you give up a sixth to get, a guy who's a 3-time Pro Bowl. But that's what happens when teams show their hands and make it very clear that that player, despite his greatness, whether it's Rodgers or Darius Slay or somebody else, once you decide they don't want, Jeff Okudah, who is not a good corner at this point, but was a top 5 pick, top 10
Yeah,
pick
top
by
5,
the
I
Lions.
think.
I mean, he went for like a 7th round pick a couple of days ago. Like that is what has become of getting guys off your roster. You're willing to take very little to get rid of that player. Now, in Rodgers' case, obviously his greatness has far exceeded a lot of these other players, but there still is that dynamic at work of we don't want this guy here anymore. We have chosen Jordan Love, and look, if I'm Jordan Love, I don't care what you've told me. I don't care if you've told me I'm your guy over and over and over again. We're not changing our mind. We're not going back. As long as Aaron Rodgers is still on the roster, I am still going to have some measure of apprehension because I don't know what kind of crazy stuff could happen. So until you actually rid the roster of Aaron Rodgers, you are still creating issues for Jordan Love. No matter how confident he is, no matter how many times you tell him how good he is, there is still going to be that feeling. And I don't think, frankly, that Matt LaFleur at the NFL meetings did him any favors by basically talking about how we need to tamp down expectations. I personally thought it was good because I thought expectations were starting to run amok about him. But at the same time, if you're Jordan Love and you're hearing that, you're thinking, oh, okay, well, maybe they're not quite as sold on me being the starter, and Rodgers is still here. What does that all mean? I think they owe it to Jordan Love to get the deal done, too. They don't owe it to Aaron Rodgers. They don't owe it to Joe Douglas. But their starting quarterback for next season needs clarity. And if I was Jordan Love, I would really want that, and I would hope that I would have that by the end of next weekend.
As we chat with Jason Wilde at Jason J. Wilde on Twitter, Wilde and Tausch 9 to noon. So, Jason, do you think that means I guess that means you're convinced that this is the new version of Aaron becoming the starter? It's not like, hey, this is a one-year thing to see if he should be the starter moving forward. Do you think that decision's already been made that Jordan Love, is the franchise quarterback for the Green Bay Packers?
At least for the next 2 years, yes. I think they're going to be realistic. Because remember, Aaron Rodgers had a good season in 2008, but he still had growing pains.
And what was that, like a 6-10 type season? Even though he played well, they lost
6-10.
a bunch of close games?
Yeah, they went 1-7 in games decided by one score or less. I think there were 4 of those 7 losses where Rodgers got them the lead in the offense, and Rodgers got them the lead in the fourth quarter, and the defense gave it back. So there are going to be growing pains. You look at their roster. I've been working on my draft preview series for the State Journal. The Packers have 5 wide receivers on their roster right now. They have 4 tight ends on their roster right now. Of those 5 wide receivers, 0 were on the roster a year ago.
What?
None of them. Not even Juwan Winfrey is back. So to have and by the way, 2 years ago going into the draft, they had 9 wide receivers on the roster. And
Jason, that's crazy because you'd say it's going to be awesome because Jordan Love's been the backup, and for the last 3 or 4 years, he's been throwing with this guy, and they've developed this great rapport, and they're ready to go. The most veteran guys are these rookies that we saw last year?
Yeah. The other guys on the roster aren't even – I don't even know how many of them have actually played an NFL game before. Bo Melton, I think, has played a couple. But it's the 3 draft picks from last year, Bo Melton and another guy named Jeff Cotton, who, I got to be honest, when we were talking about this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, for some reason Chewy decided to do research and was looking at the roster because I didn't know who the fifth receiver was, like off the top of my head.
I don't know. I think those last two guys are like appearing at Summerfest this summer. I think we're playing a game of like Summerfest artist or Packers skill position player, and I'm going that those both are Summerfest performers.
Yeah, and the same thing at tight end. I mean, the two tight ends they had that have played in the game for them are Tyler Davis and Josiah DeGuara. The other two guys, one guy's name is Nick Gugamos, which sounds like a country artist maybe, and Austin Allen, who could also be opening for Jason Aldean.
Yeah.
So to your point, that's what I'm talking about here is that you're now and let's be honest too, free agency's over. Like you might be able to do the kind of Devondre Campbell diamond in the rough 1 year prove it deal guy who turns out to be
so
really
Jason,
good.
what are we talking about here then? What, like, I think David Bakhtiari may have alluded to it. Why aren't they trading all these guys? Like, what are we talking about for this year? I mean, we saw the Chicago Bears do it last year, and you hate to compare the Packers to the Bears, but why not? Why not get rid of your guys, your defensive guys that have value? Obviously not if they're in their second year, right? Because then you could have some of that value. But what are we doing with veteran players taking up big salary numbers that are going to help you win games? I mean, isn't this year feels like you're not trying to win, right?
Yeah, the Bakhtiari one doesn't. That's the one that I'm still scratching my head about because they took his salary and a roster bonus and they converted it to a signing bonus and paid him $15 million right away, which is how you do those cap conversions. And, he kind of alluded to it on that Bussin' with the Boys podcast on Barstool about not only the rebuilding, but how he'd be basically fine being traded. I don't think you trade him now because you just put it all into a signing bonus. So that doesn't work. I was surprised.
Well, but does that make him more easily tradable since the Packers took that on? So, like, what could you get for Bakhtiari?
It would, but
shouldn't you be able to get a
signing
first-round
bonus,
pick for one of the best tackles in football?
Again, he's 32 years old, and he has this knee that's all jacked up. Like, let's be honest. If his knee wasn't a concern, you would not even be second-guessing having David Bakhtiari still be on your roster because even Jordan Love needs somebody to protect his blind side. But it's the fact that he's tight with Rodgers, that he's had all these knee problems, that he's turning 32 years old during the season, and that he carries a lot of cap space. Like, I would have thought that if they wanted to go into true rebuild mode, he is the outlier to me because you already signed Elton Jenkins to an extension that is built basically for him to be a left guard, and if he becomes a left tackle, you pay him even more. And he's, you make him your left tackle today, and then you figure something else out on the offensive line, and you get Bakhtiari off your cap before you give him the $15 million. So, again, I don't know. That's one of the many questions I have for Goody. I have not, I didn't go to the Combine, and I wasn't in Phoenix for the NFL meeting.
But what about Gary and Clark and even Jair Alexander? I mean, isn't there more value in getting 6, 7 first-round picks, trade them all, and could you get 2 1s for Jair? Like, I mean, if you're not going to win now, why not build a powerhouse, team for 2 to 3 years from now when you might be ready to win?
Aren't you the same person who just told me people overvalue draft picks?
They do.
Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah, they do, and that's why you need a lot of them.
You have to.
That's why you need a lot of them if you're going to get some right. That's why I think you need to go all in on it if you're going to really try to build. When you talk about the roster for 2023 and 2024, I don't know how this is like a real winning team. So don't you have to be looking at what this team looks like in 2025 at this point?
Yeah, I think you identify your cornerstone young players. Elton Jenkins, Jair Alexander, Kenny Clark is still 27 years old. He's entering his 8th NFL season. You don't know. It's clear they don't see, even though they gave him the 5th-year option, they don't see Darnell Savage as one of those guys. And I bet if they had a do-over and they had a crystal ball, they wouldn't have given him the fifth-year option, and they'd start over. I mean, the guy got benched during the season. But I think Rashawn Gary is a cornerstone player. Now, he's going into his fifth-year option year that they picked up, but he tore his ACL. So I don't think he has trade value. I think he's one of the guys that you want to say, look, we're going to bring in an influx of young talent. We already started it last year, wide receiver. I bet Aaron Jones is in his last year with the Packers. I think this is David Bakhtiari's last year in Green Bay, and I think 2024 brings, youth movements at other spots. But they're going to go young at safety. They haven't re-signed Adrian Amos. I'm guessing that after the way last season went, they're not 100% sold that it was money well spent on Devontae Campbell. And then they drafted Quay Walker. So
who we like Quay Walker, even though he had his issues. Yeah,
we do, and I quite frankly, I think he might be a pretty good edge rusher if they wanted him to do that more frequently. But look, they basically, nobody wants to admit that they're rebuilding, right? Aaron Rodgers said that with McAfee, and he's right. No one wants to admit that. They've been trying to kind of rebuild on the run here because now they're in a position too where. And Homer brings this up, and I hadn't thought of it in these terms because I sometimes don't see the forest for the trees. But we're on the precipice of Brian Gutekunst trading away a Hall of Fame wide receiver. And that's not me calling Davante Adams a Hall of Fame wide receiver. That's Brian Gutekunst calling him a Hall of Fame wide receiver a year ago or 14 months ago when we were talking to him at Lambeau Field in the Lombardi boardroom about re-signing Adams and him saying, look, we're not worried about how old he's going to be if we sign him to a 5-year deal because Hall of Fame players are productive well into their 30s, and we believe he's a Hall of Fame player. So they will have traded away a Hall of Fame wide receiver and a Hall of Fame quarterback in back-to-back seasons. And as somebody who worked for the team said to me last March 17th when I was sitting at Sydney's indoor soccer game and the news broke that Davante Adams had been traded, you don't get better taking Davante Adams off your roster. And no matter how you feel about Jordan Love or how Aaron Rodgers played last year, you don't necessarily get better, at least in the short term, taking Aaron Rodgers off your roster when he can still play. So you're looking at a team that will have gotten rid of its 2 Hall of Fame players in successive off seasons. And at some point you have to admit when you've done that you're rebuilding.
Well, the Bill Simmons from The Ringer brought up an amazing comparison to Aaron Rodgers, which is Steph Curry, and the idea that and Kyle, tell me how you feel about this comparison. That Steph Curry, they've tried to rebuild while they have their core. So if you look at Steph and Clay and Draymond as Devontae and Bakhtiari, right? But they didn't bring in veterans to help them win, right? They brought in young guys, and they signed Poole and Kuminga, and they're trying to do it. And Steph Curry never said, like, hey, you're not giving me enough guys. Steph Curry just kind of kept doing his thing. And last year, they actually, when no one thought they were going to, they won a championship. And I think the Packers are not that far away from that could have been a scenario, right? Obviously it didn't, right? They lost the 49ers, at home with Jimmy G, and they got the punt block. They lose to the Buccaneers at home. A different scenario could be where Aaron Rodgers is more like Steph Curry, right? And where they did do this kind of rebuild, and they actually won while they were doing it, right? I mean, Jason, this wasn't that far from maybe working out and being a best-case scenario if 1 or 2 playoff games go a little bit different.
Yeah, unfortunately, they traded away Klay Thompson, right, in the form of Davante Adams. And look, you and Kyle know 1,000 times more about the NBA, although Sydney's gotten a real interest in it now, so I find myself watching a lot of NBA playoff games. Andrew Wiggins was such a crucial part of what they did last year, right? The Warriors did. And there's a guy who was a former number 1 overall pick who had not lived up to expectations, but in the right situation had success. I think you could argue that when Aaron Rodgers was maybe looking for a quote-unquote veteran player,
that was Sammy Watkins.
Yes, exactly. Samuel. You could have found someone who had not played up to expectations, was better than Sammy Watkins, and could have helped you, and they obviously didn't do that either. But I get a lot of grief on social media because of my stance on Davante Adams, because I'm so adamant about it. But there are very few things that I've seen during my career, or even going back to like when I was a kid and the Brewers moved on from Paul Molitor. Like Hall of Fame talents, I know we have a tendency maybe to take them for granted, and I think there are times when we take Giannis's greatness for granted, and now we're being reminded during this series of how desperately you need your Michael Jordan type player on your team and available. But Davante Adams is that level of player, and I would be curious to know how many GMs in the league would have allowed that to play out the way it did and wouldn't have just said before the 2021 season, the hell with it. This guy's a generational talent. Let's just give him the money he wants and be done with it. Because there's a lot of money that gets wasted in the NFL, and overpaying Davante Adams going into the 21 season, I don't think that would have been wasted money.
Jason, I don't think it's about the general manager. I really think it's about the owner in those spots.
You might be right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to absolve Goody and use Mark Murphy as some sort of a crutch of, he hamstrings Goody from being able
and
to
I'm not
make
blaming
the
Murphy in
decisions
this
he
spot. I'm just saying that, like, in a situation with an owner, there's someone who's more emotionally connected and who has the power to just be like, all right, we're keeping him. I know you're saying these are the comps. I know but he's not reporting to a board the way Mark Murphy is. So I empathize with Mark Murphy in that spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I don't know how many teams, and you're right about the ownership thing. Like, it's hard for me to imagine an owner who is not meddling, but certainly invested, right? Because there's meddling owners, and then there's ones that obviously are willing to, like, I don't know who the owner is of the Padres, but, like, that's a small market team that has spent, like, $1 billion in contracts to try and win. Like, I just have a hard time picturing a lot of owners allowing the Adams thing to happen. And I do think the Adams thing, even though it's been spun the way it has been, I do think that has also been a domino leading to how disappointing Rodgers was last year and everything else. And now here we sit on the precipice of Rodgers being traded to.
Yeah, and I know people think wide receivers don't matter, but, like, I think it's like a difference of 4 wins last year. You could go through this schedule last year and just assuming Davante was healthy last year, that's a 4-game swing in my opinion. All right, Jason, what are they going to do with the draft? I know we've taken all our time. What's your prediction on the draft?
Well, they had 3 tight ends in for top 30 visits. So each NFL team is allowed to have 30 players come to their facility for a pre-draft visit. And they had Dalton Kincaid, they had Michael Mayer, and they had Darnell Washington. Forgetting what his last name is. The tight end from Georgia. So they had the top 3 tight ends in for visits. But look, they also had some edge rushers come in for visits, a couple of offensive linemen. But at 15, it's going back to what we were saying about wide receiver and tight end. I don't know how you can feel good about what you've got for your first-time starter at the skill positions, even as excited as they may be about Dobbs and Watson. I think they need to get him more weapons to give him a chance to succeed and a chance to grow with some of these other young players. So I would hope that it's amazing. The only skill position offensive player the Packers have drafted since they drafted Aaron Rodgers in 2005 is Jordan Love in the first round.
Wow.
No running backs in the first round, no wide receivers in the first round. They haven't drafted a tight end in the first round since 2000. And to put that in perspective, that was Tausch's draft class. He played 11 years. He's been retired for more than a dozen years.
Wait, and that was Bubba Franks?
It was Bubba Franks.
Yeah,
exactly.
Wow. Dalton Kincaid. I'm going to go with that name. You were right on Washington. That is his last name. 23 years old, tight end. That's who I'm going with, because I think if you have a rookie quarterback and you're ready to have 2 good tackles, the best way to protect him is at this point with a tight end. So I'll go with that. And we'll always go with Jason Wilde, who we appreciate it as always. Thanks so much, Jason.
All right, Craig. Take care. Be good.
There he is, Jason Wilde. Wilde and Tausch at Jason J. Wilde. And, yeah, we're a little behind, but that'll happen, especially with Kyle gone. So we will continue. We'll get to the 7-Eleven.
Happens when I'm there too, Craig.
Yeah. We'll get to the 7-Eleven. I think maybe not next, but maybe it'll be one of those 11-11 7-Elevens. We'll keep it rolling with you. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Homer, Tony, living in perfect harmony. Yeah, right.
The most important thing by far is that Chris Middleton is able to play at 100%.
He looks good enough that I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Opposite of what
I got
I
some stuff to do.
Jordan Love doesn't look good enough for me not to worry.
It starts with love.
You haven't even seen him play enough to know for sure.
Well, what I've seen, I'm worried.
Listen to Homer and Tony weekdays from 2 to 4 on 94.5 ESPN and wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Whether it is a sporting event, whether it is a philanthropic charity, whether it is a community event, there's one thing that you usually see in Wisconsin around things that you care about, and that's Gruber Law Offices, because they care about what you care about. They're invested in this community the same way you and your family is, because they're a family who has built a business here over the last 35 plus years helping Wisconsinites. So that's why if you're ever injured, remember, one call, that's all, is not a marketing slogan. It's a way of life at Gruber Law Offices. And we're talking about multi-generational now, helping families, helping individuals in Wisconsin. Often an injured person has no idea what to do. They have no idea even what they should be signing, what they should be dealing with. Work with someone who's done it tens of thousands of times. That's Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group, with over 40 years of experience saving businesses money. Another year has come and gone. How did yours go? Do you have more money in the bank than last January? Do you just have a job, or do you run a business? 85% of business owners just have a job. Our years of experience and proven strategies help you run your business profitably and get it ready to sell when you are ready. That's the end game, right? We help you look at the numbers and understand what they mean. Just ask Jason, Michelle, or Peter, who sold their businesses this year for a nice price. Do you want to get a decent salary, pay what you owe, and make a profit too? Let us help you improve your business so you can work less and make more. Sounds pretty good, right? To get started on the road to making more money and having less stress, book a call or meeting at nealgroup.net right now. That's NEAL group.net. The first meeting is free to see if we can help. Again, nealgroup.net.
Enjoy a world of street food fare in the largest tequila collection in town at Blue Bat Kitchen and Tequileria. Blue Bat is a destination for some of Milwaukee's best tacos, shareable appetizers, and margaritas in a fun environment right on the river in the historic 3rd Ward, serving up global flavors and good times 7 days a week. Blue Bat Kitchen will also turn your next party into a full-blown fiesta with an off-site catering taco bar. Visit Blue Bat Kitchen on Water Street or check out bluebatkitchen.com.
It's Gary Ellison here from Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape from the office? Or maybe you want to impress a potential client? Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center offers a top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play courses like St. Andrews, Whistling Straits, and more. Even when it's not perfect golf weather outdoors, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center's simulators, entertainment, and their best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer. At just $35 an hour for a bay, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is the perfect weekday getaway. Book your bay today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Kessler's is America's largest employee-owned diamond store.
It's the diamond store where the owners think like you do.
As shoppers, we want better prices and more choices.
That's why we give you better prices and more choices.
We don't try to choose for you, we let you choose.
You can choose a diamond from a diamond mine.
A diamond as old as the earth itself.
You can choose a created diamond from a plasma chamber.
A diamond as new and fresh and sparkling as springtime.
And now you can choose a flickering firelight diamond.
Flickering firelight diamonds sparkle with a rich and regal golden glow.
At Kessler's, you choose from 3 different kinds of diamonds.
3 different kinds of diamonds.
Earth diamonds from diamond mines.
Created diamonds from plasma chambers.
And flickering firelight diamonds with a rich, regal golden glow.
We like to have choices, so we give you choices.
Kessler's is the diamond store where the owners think like you do.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Find the Kessler's nearest you at Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Cheers to selection and savings. They are worth celebrating. I mean, have you tried to buy a car, a house, or even lumber lately? Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where, since 1960, we've consistently provided the best selection and the lowest prices in southeastern Wisconsin. We stock literally thousands of varieties of beer, liquor, and wine. Over 14,000 actually, but who's counting? The point is, you want it, odds are we have it. And what about our prices? Oh, they're low, really low. Our long-standing relationships and enormous buying power allow us to pass savings directly to you. The result? Low prices every single day. I'll drink to that. Discount Liquor, locally owned and family operated with 2 locations. In Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow in Maine.
Discount liquor.
I asked what kind of family she wanted. She said, a family like yours.
Learn more about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It's a new era for the green and gold.
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
And we're hitting the ground running on night 1 of the draft. Join us as we broadcast live from Q Club of Wisconsin on Thursday night starting at 6. Homer Tausch, Jason Wilde, Ben Brust, and the full Jen, Gabe, and Chewy crew will be reacting to the picks and talking about the future in Green Bay. Draft night on 94.5 ESPN live from Q Club of Wisconsin in Waukesha.
Aside from a house or a car specifically, what is the most expensive thing you own? Wendy?
A car.
Name an animal with 3 letters in its name.
Alligator.
Name something that's better than being rich.
Poor. Besides a bird, something in a bird cage.
Hamster.
Something that comes with a summer storm.
Snow.
Something Russia's famous for, Bob.
Russians.
Something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house. Rob!
Naked grandma! Reason you might stay indoors on a beautiful day.
Because it's raining?
Name something you might buy that could turn out to be phony. Yeah,
A horse.
Name a time that most people get up.
In the morning.
A time most people go to bed.
At night.
This is the 7 at 11 on Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
All right, Kyle, you ready?
I was born ready.
You got your
3 out of 7.
You got your NFL draft hat on?
Ooh, we're gonna find out here.
Because we are looking at the Packers needing playmakers, right? We're looking at guys who need to score touchdowns. So very simply, all we're looking at is in the last of players drafted in the last 10 NFL drafts, who are the first round picks in the last 10 NFL drafts who have scored the most touchdowns.
The most?
Now,
and that's not
throwing,
quarterback.
not throwing. Well, if they ran for him, then it's cool. But we're talking about who have scored the most touchdowns. People drafted in the first round in the last 10 years.
All right. Let's start with Ezekiel Elliott.
And this, I get it. This is hard, by the way, because you have to think not just played, right? They had to have been drafted in the last 10 years and then scored all those touchdowns in the last 10 years. Ezekiel Elliott, he was a first-round pick back in 2016, and he is number 2 on this list. Well done with Ezekiel Elliott, drafted in the last 10 years, and his 80 touchdowns put him number 2 on the list.
Okay.
And remember, the one thing I'll tell you is guys could be out of the league. Like, that's the crazy thing about, I'm not saying a lot of them are, but, like, it's possible.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
He's got at least 40 rushing touchdowns, right?
Lamar Jackson is number 29 on this list with 24 rushing touchdowns. You want to use a mulligan?
Wow, yeah. Are we in next week?
Next week, I think I'm in.
I'm here. Got Tory Low Community Cleanup on Saturday, so I'll be there. I'm struggling to try to think of receivers.
And just so you know, there are more receivers on this list.
Yeah.
Oh, no, actually, there's 3 of each left. So there's 3 of each left.
Of running backs and receivers?
Yep. So
let me take a mulligan.
Just gave it away that there's no tight ends or quarterbacks on the list.
Derrick Henry.
By the way, Josh Allen is the highest ranked quarterback. He is number 13 on this list. Derrick Henry, let me look at when he was drafted. He was the 45th overall pick in the draft by the Titans. So Derrick Henry was not a first-round pick. He is not on this list. Let's open it up to you to give a call right now and try to guess this. It is not easy. Kyle only was able to get 1 on the list. We are looking for, in the last 10 years, dating back to 2012, who are the first-round picks in the NFL draft who have scored the most touchdowns in the NFL regular season. We have Ezekiel Elliott correct at number 2 on the list. Lamar Jackson guessed incorrectly. And also Derrick Henry, who was not a first-round pick, guessed incorrectly. 800-990-3776. It's 800-990-3776. DJ, you want to jump in?
I'll take a stab.
All right, who you got?
How about D-Hop?
How about DeAndre Hopkins? Kyle, would you say he's got a shot?
I would say DJ had a lot of time to think about it, and I think that's an excellent guess, DJ.
DeAndre Hopkins is number 4 on the list. Well done. Well done. You got another one with all that time you had to think about
Come on, DJ. Come on, DJ.
You know what? I don't. I think we open it up. Let's open it up.
Then grab all those callers who are calling in right now at 800-990-ESPN. That is 800-990-3776. We have Ezekiel Elliott at number 2, DeAndre Hopkins at number 4. And as we said, it's giving it away a little bit, but there are no tight ends or quarterbacks anywhere to be found on this list. By the way, Eric Ebron is number 15 on the list. If you were looking for a tight end, that is actually the top tight end on this list. Is that possible?
Unimpressive, then.
That is
Eric Ebron is not great.
Josh Allen and Eric Ebron are the top quarterbacks and tight ends on this list. And Sammy Watkins, by the way, is number 16 on this list. So
maybe we don't need a first-round pick then. Maybe they're just right. Give us some seconds and some thirds and some fourths, because obviously first-round picks in the last 10 years have been average.
That's what I'm saying. People get all this hype about first-round picks. Unless my search function didn't work, unless my list is wrong, but I feel pretty good about my list. Let's talk first to John. You're on Sunday Karma. Morning, John. John?
Hello?
Hey, there we go. Who do you have?
Yeah. Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley, a guy who had a big-time year this year. He has 37 touchdowns, which is good for number 14 on the list. Not going to get it done, but thanks for the call. Let's go to Paul. You're on Sunday Karma. Morning, Paul.
I'm going to guess Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. Kyle, he's gotten a lot of them really, really quick. What do you think about Justin Jefferson?
Him, right? Was that year 2 or year 3 last year?
Yeah, last year was year 3.
Oh, yeah, he's on the list.
He's got 20.
He's got at least 45.
He's got 26 touchdowns. Good for number 20.
Not on the list.
Good for number 25 on the list. No, Justin.
He only has 26 touchdowns?
All right.
Yep, thanks for the call. Let's go to Kevin. You are on Sunday Karma. Morning, Kevin.
Good morning. I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey, another guy who's on the more recent end of things, drafted in 2017. Kyle, what do you think?
He's missed a lot of games. I feel like maybe he might be at 30 touchdowns career-wise.
Yep, he's only got 60, which is good for number 6 on the list. Well done, Kevin. Nicely done. He is number 6 on the list. You have another guess for us?
Man, I was struggling with wide receivers, but I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs.
Oh, Stephon Diggs. Let's see. Was he? My gut was that he was not a number 1 pick.
Or was he second?
Yeah, let me look him up and just see exactly where he was drafted. I would have guessed he was 3rd, but I don't know. Let's see. Stephon Diggs was in the 5th round, the 146th pick by the Minnesota Vikings. Excellent job knocking one of those out. So we have Barkley, Jackson, Henry, Jefferson, and Diggs guessed incorrectly. We got Zeke, Hopkins, and McCaffrey guessed correctly. Let's go to Mitch in Glendale. You're on Sunday Karma. Morning, Mitch.
Good morning. Uncle Kevin took Christian from me, so I'm going to do my dark horse. I don't remember when he retired, but Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson. Kyle, what do you think?
Calvin was drafted before 2010, wasn't he?
Calvin Johnson's draft year was before it. It was all the way back in 2007. So he is not going to be on the list. All right, let's let you know. You can give us a call, 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. We have 3 of 7 guests. Players drafted in the 1st round in the last 10 years with the most touchdowns. Zeke, Hopkins, and McCaffrey on the list. Not on the list, Calvin Johnson, Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs. We'll continue to take your calls as we continue. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Even when you think you know what's going on.
Is that like a button, like a preset that just happens when you hit a certain age and all of a sudden you start making unnecessary noises?
You can never be too sure.
Yeah, I make them all the time. Well, like my wife, I have big lungs.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Takes time to get them filled with air.
How do you know your wife has big lungs?
Take a look.
Morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Psst, hey, Mark, remember, getting help from Progressive is so easy. You can use the mobile app, chat with us online, or call us.
And you pick now to tell me.
I couldn't miss Little Grace's ballet recital. Oh, thanks for inviting me, by the way.
Did I?
Because you know I'm always here for you.
Yeah. I can use the mobile app if I need help. Sorry, you're in my wife's seat, though?
Oh, yeah, I gotta go anyway. Tell Grace she nailed her chassé.
Get the help you need from Progressive with our mobile app, online chat, or over the phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
Right now, spring is at the Home Depot, and it's time to get growing.
Whether you're planting vegetables or herbs, or just sprucing up your indoor space with lush 6-inch Vigoro Tropicals, we have what you need to get your season started. Visit your local Home Depot garden center today and shop our easy-to-grow, bigger, bolder tropicals, like peace lilies, dracaena, or ficus plants. Do your spring at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Product varies by store.
Cousin Subs wants to make you a VIP. On Saturday, June 4th, Donald Driver will be hosting his charity softball game at Fox City Stadium in Appleton, Wisconsin. Cousins and Double D are teaming up to offer you a chance to be their VIP guest. The VIP winner will win a package that includes a meet and greet with Double D and Jordy Nelson, VIP seating, food and beverage, and Cousins Subs for a year. Enter daily at cousinsubs.com/softball now through May 15th. Cousins Subs, we believe in better.
Hello, baseball fans. Jeff Levering here, calling the action with the amazing team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And what a roster we have. Up to bat is Pella's award-winning Easy Slide innovation. Wow, what a smooth glide. Pella's sliding windows are incredibly easy to maneuver, wider than they are tall. They glide horizontally, letting in lots of natural light and unobstructed views. And that roll? It's a double play. Pella's premium roll screens operate like magic. Close the window and the screen rolls away completely out of sight. Now that is slick. On deck is Pella's Reserve Series patio door. Just look at that slide. It's a perfect fit. Pella Reserve patio doors offer virtually unlimited sizes and custom colors, and they're backed up with the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Pella sure is one heck of a 5-tool player, and you can bring any number of their all-star innovations home for 0% for 48 months when you order by April 30th. Visit PellaWI.com for this amazing deal.
Certain restrictions apply.
What is dedication?
People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It's a new era for the green and gold.
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
And we're hitting the ground running on night one of the draft. Join us as we broadcast live from Q Club of Wisconsin on Thursday night starting at 6. Homer Tausch, Jason Wilde, Ben Brust, and the full Jen, Gabe, and Chewy crew will be reacting to the picks and talking about the future in Green Bay. Draft night on 94.5 ESPN live from Q Club of Wisconsin in Waukesha. It's deja vu for the Packers.
16 years is hard to forget for everyone.
It's deja vu for... Wait, am I really reading this again? It's the same script over and over.
18 years, man. That's always going to be home.
The latest on Aaron Rodgers, all day, every day, on 94.5 ESPN.
Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Kyle, you know what draft pick Davante Adams was?
Yeah, he was a second-round pick.
Yep. He was picked 53. Think about that. Crazy.
Jordy Nelson, second-round pick.
Yep.
Christian Watson, high 30s.
Yep.
The next great Packers receiver.
Next Hall of Famer.
Yep, HOF, baby.
Come on now. Let's calm it down a little bit there. All right, we are looking for people drafted from 2012. So the last 10 drafts, which I guess would have been 2013. But there was really no one in 2012 anyway. So it's really 2013 anyway. 2013, last 10 years of drafts, people picked in the first round with the most career touchdowns. And we have Ezekiel Elliott at number 2, DeAndre Hopkins at number 4, Christian McCaffrey at number 6. We've said there's no quarterbacks or tight ends on the list. So we're basically down to running backs and wide receivers. And there are some of both of them left for you to jump in right now at 800-990-3776. It's 800-990-3776. Kyle, you did get one of them correct during the commercial break. We'll see if Phil can do as well as you did. You're on Sunday Karma. Morning, Phil.
Oh, hey, Craig. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
So I just drew a blank on this guy's name. I had it The guy that was on Kansas City is on Miami. What the heck is his name?
I think
little guy.
I believe he is known as a cheetah of some kind.
Yeah, I feel like his last name starts with H. Like
yes, that is Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. Yeah,
Tyreek Hill.
Not even close.
What do you think?
Not even close. Tyreek Hill played at Division II school. Not even close.
Yeah, he was a 5th round pick, the 165th pick of the draft. Think about these guys should Kyle. All these GMs should be fired for that, right? I mean, come on.
No, I agree. Listen. I just said some names, and I said Derrick Henry before. There are a lot of misses in the first round.
That's crazy. I mean, that Tyreek Hill is going in the 5th round. The talent evaluation blasphemy that goes on in this league. Thanks, Phil. Let's go to Keith, who's in Racine. You're on Sunday Karma. Morning, Keith.
Good morning. I'm going to say Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley. Kyle, what do you think about Todd Gurley? He was drafted in 2015, so that is in the last 10 years.
Are you kidding me? Todd Gurley only played for like 5-6 seasons?
Yeah. I would have thought Todd Gurley was drafted in like 2008 if you had asked me. But he was drafted in 2015.
Todd's on
he was a beast when he played.
He is absolutely on this list. He is number 3 with 79 touchdowns. To me, he was the hardest guy on this list. Well done, Keith. You got another one for us?
No, I do not.
Well, that's a good way to go out because that, I think, was the toughest guy on this list. Well done, Todd Gurley out of Georgia and Keith out of Racine. John, you're on Sunday Karma. Who you got, John?
I thought I had something, and I realized I probably don't. I was going to say Odell, but I think he's down the list a little bit now.
Odell Beckham was a first-round pick back in 2014, and his 57 touchdowns are good for number 7 on the list. He is on this list. Odell Beckham, well done. Do you have another for us, John?
I was going to say Mark Ingram, but he was drafted before, wasn't he, like 2010?
Yeah, Mark Ingram's a good one. He would be on this list if we had pushed the draft date back a little bit. Good call, John. Let's go to Sean, West Bend. You're on Sunday Karma. Morning, Sean.
Good morning. How are you today?
Excellent. Who do you have? We only have 2 names left on this list.
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara from the New Orleans Saints. Kyle, what do you think?
I can't recall whether or not he was a first-round pick or not.
Yeah, he was a 3rd-round pick, the 67th pick in the first round. Thanks for the call, Sean. All right, so now it gets to be hint time. One of these, I mean, we're missing number 1 on the list, by the way. So
Can we do a quick reset?
Yeah, we have Ezekiel Elliott at 2, Todd Gurley at 3, DeAndre Hopkins at 4, Christian McCaffrey number 6, and Odell Beckham number 7. So we're missing number 1 and number 5. Both of them have won Super Bowl championships in the last 3 years. Both of them have won
I know one.
Super Bowl championships in the last 3 years. That is
Forgotten man.
That is your clue. And there are only 2 names left. Call 800-990-3776. It's 800-990-3776. Looking for first-round picks with the most touchdowns of guys drafted in the last 10 years. Both of them have won Super Bowl championships in the last 3 years. We'll take your calls as we continue. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Q Club of Wisconsin is the perfect game day destination to catch all of your favorite teams in action. With tons of TVs in their sports bar, plus drinks and great food, it's the place to be. Check out their fish fry piled high on Wednesdays and Fridays and brunch specials on the weekends. Plus, this year, Q Club of Wisconsin is the official football draft headquarters for ESPN Milwaukee. Catch 94.5 ESPN broadcasting live from Q Club of Wisconsin during round 1 of the draft on April 27th. Q Club of Wisconsin in Waukesha. QClubofWI.com.
A big storm brewing? Don't miss it. It's Thursday Thunder this April at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. You could win a share of $400,000 in cash and prizes. Just play with your club card April 1st through the 27th, and you could be one of 50 winners each Thursday. Showers might bring flowers, but thunder brings the boom. Only at Potawatomi. More info at paysbig.com/thunder. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 12.76 to 19-ounce package Bellatoria pizza, $5.99. 14-ounce ice cream or 3-count bars, Häagen-Dazs ice cream or ice cream bars, $3.99. 8.3 to 12-ounce package Frigo cheesehead, string cheese or cheese sticks, $3.99. 8-ounce chunk, 7 to 8-ounce sliced or 5.5 to 8-ounce shredded Tillamook chunk, sliced or shredded cheese, 2 for $6.
Hey, why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take the mound at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience from Century Foods. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 26th.
It's Gary Ellison here from Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape from the office? Or maybe you want to impress a potential client? Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center offers a top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play courses like St. Andrews, Whistling Straits, and more. Even when it's not perfect golf weather outdoors, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center's simulators, entertainment, and their best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer. At just $35 an hour for a bay, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is the perfect weekday getaway. Book your bay today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, this is Bo stepping in for Ridgetop Larry, here to tell you about Ridgetop Exterior's most affordable payment options, including no interest and low interest financing. For your free estimate, visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors, visit ridgetopexteriors.com.
It's a new era for the green and gold.
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
And we're hitting the ground running on night one of the draft. Join us as we broadcast live from Q Club of Wisconsin on Thursday night starting at 6. Homer Tausch, Jason Wilde, Ben Brust, and the full Jen, Gabe, and Chewy crew will be reacting to the picks and talking about the future in Green Bay. Draft night on 94.5 ESPN live from Q Club of Wisconsin in Waukesha. Every crack of the bat, every pop of the mitt, every play at the plate. Whenever we talk about Milwaukee baseball, you can find it on Wisconsin On Demand with Crew Talk. Game recaps, interviews, and analysis all in one place. Find Crew Talk today everywhere you get your podcasts. This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
All right, we're going to knock out the rest of this 7 at 11. But, Kyle, how about your Milwaukee Brewers? 15-6. It's like, 20 games through the Major League season. That's like being, I feel like 3 games through the football season. And it'd be like the Packers being 3-0 right now. The Brewers are getting it done. And I would argue that they're getting it done in a way that is probably scalable for the rest of the year, right? There's nobody who's like going crazy, right? Willy Adames is hitting the ball well, but kind of like what you'd expect. 278, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. Garrett Mitchell got hurt, which is tough. But, right? Nobody's like going crazy right now, are they? Kyle?
Uh-oh.
Oh, now you're back. We got
There
you.
it is. There it is. Oh, yeah, no. Nobody's really going crazy right now. Just
Besides Wade
solid
Miley,
team.
maybe. Maybe Wade Miley, but besides that.
But, I mean, no, this is Brewers team. Look like they'll be consistent, and they'll be competing in the end for a chance to make the playoffs. And maybe our pitching comes through in the playoffs, and we have the miracle season we've been waiting for.
And
but the guys in the minors, they're winners.
Does that mean that people, and we'll get to the 7-Eleven calls, but does that mean that all of the stuff has been unfair around criticism of inability to spend money and all that? Because, like, look at this. They've put together yet another team that is winning baseball games.
Listen, this Brewers team has been competitive without having a big major payroll. We've win with over what little less than $120 million or salary or more. I should say less. But if you look at the talent, if you're a baseball fan, if you look at the talent that they have, this is a good team.
Yeah.
And they have younger guys in the minors that can step up too and play well.
I remember looking at the beginning of the year, and it was like, oh, all right. Like, it's not like, oh, the Cardinals are so favored. I mean, I don't think we would have thought that it'd be the Pirates who'd be up there with the Brewers, right, in the standings. So if there's a surprise in the NL Central, it's not that the Brewers are sitting there at 15-6. I think the surprises would be that the Pirates are 15-7, maybe that the Cubs are 12-8. A little bit of a surprise there. And then the bigger surprise to me always the Cardinals, but not when they start slow because they always seem to find a way to come around. Mm-hmm. But how about that? The Milwaukee Brewers' best record in the entire National League. All right, back to the 7-Eleven, where we find that we have only two remaining. We have Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Gurley, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian McCaffrey, and Odell Beckham Jr. We are looking for the 7 players drafted in the first round in the last 10 years who have scored the most touchdowns. Your clue is that they have both won Super Bowls in the last 3 years. They've both won Super Bowls in the last 3 years. We go to a guy who has gotten the 7th, 11th a number of times in his career. We say good morning to Chef Ed. How you doing, Chef?
Morning, Craig. How's it going?
Good.
Well, thanks for I'm going to say I'll knock one out for sure. Mike Evans, Tampa Bay.
Mike Evans, Tampa Bay is the number one answer on this list. 82 touchdowns is the number one answer. Kyle, you figured that one out during the break with the help of my clue. Chef Ed for the win. What do you have?
Okay, I got a player in mind. I know he was drafted, but I can't remember if he won I don't think he won a Super Bowl, but I'm going to say Melvin Gordon.
He's going to say Melvin Gordon, Kyle. What do you think?
You know what? Melvin did win a Super Bowl.
When did Melvin Gordon win a Super Bowl?
Isn't he on the Chiefs?
He won a Super Bowl this year, even though he didn't have an actual carry in the regular season for them. He won. I don't think he had a carry in the postseason either, by the way. Melvin Gordon did
he
win
even play for the Chiefs? Like, did he ever?
I don't know if he actually played in a game.
He did not.
But he won a Super Bowl. Melvin Gordon from the University of Wisconsin is our 7th at 11. Nice job, Chef Ed. Who would have thought, Kyle, that you would have forgotten Melvin Gordon? I mean, that is sad.
His career has gone downhill pretty fast.
But I mean, let's respect the fact that he is number 5 on this list with 69 touchdowns in his career. So
that's very impressive.
I'm not sure that it's over, right? I mean, you think?
He had some fumbling issues a couple years ago, and then he couldn't really find his footing last year.
So his first year, first year, no touchdowns. Then he went 10-8, 10-8, 9-8. And then this past year with Denver, in 10 games, he had 2 touchdowns before being released by the Denver Broncos.
I was going to say, based off the shade and the disrespect you showed to my Packers, Melvin might as well come to the Packers since they should rebuild.
Wait. So you're disagreeing with me on that? You think the Packers should try to win games this year?
I think their offensive line is good. I think their defense is decent. They have a lot of good pieces on defense that you talk about trading. We're talking about weapons on offense, and you know 2 guys and the rookies last year are going to get better next year.
So you're
They're
saying
not going to be terrible. Aaron Rodgers didn't play great last year.
No, not
He
at all.
wasn't a difference maker.
So you're saying you think this is like a 10-win team this year?
No, I'm saying this team can win 7 or 8 games just like they did this year.
That's worse. That's worse than winning 10, though. You either need to lose out or go for it all, because then you're not getting a draft pick.
No. You gotta take steps in the progression to get there. Remember, we talked about Aaron Rodgers won 6 games his first year. That defense is still rather young.
Yes.
And so if you are able to add some pieces on offense, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you might be competing.
Right.
Look how
and
quickly Philly turned it around, and they added some pieces.
They did. But so you don't think so I guess my point is, are you adding pieces to win now, or are you adding pieces to win 3 or 4 years from now?
I think you already have the pieces on defense in place to be successful a couple years from now. On offense, yes, Bakhtiari's not going to be there. Maybe you draft offensive lineman, but you already have a pretty decently young offensive line.
Yep. And you have
add in those 2 receivers.
And if you buy into those receivers, yes.
Yeah, which I'm buying into the receivers. The Packers are going to draft probably 2 tight ends. They're going to draft a couple receivers. They may sign somebody a year from now. This team is not that far off from being competitive.
Wow, that you got me a little excited here. You got me a little excited. So you're saying this year, okay, so then who's going to win the division this year? It's not going to be them, or it's not going to be the Bears, right? If you're saying
Minnesota's going to be Detroit.
So you think Detroit?
One of those 2 teams.
You think Minnesota and Detroit both kind of in that 9-10 win area, and it's a little bit of a 9-8 type first winning division, or 10-7?
Minnesota maybe win more, but book this right now. I say right here today on April 23rd, live from Florida. The Packers will not get slept by the Lions like they did last year.
Okay, wait. How about Packers record this year versus the Lions and the Bears combined? Will they go over 500 then? So are you saying they'll go 3-1?
Oh no. Probably 2-2. I mean, the Bears got better. They're not a bad team, right? And the Lions beat us twice last year. I see us going 2-2 in that game.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna give you.
Which is what we did last year. It's exactly what we did last year, and we got swept by the Lions.
Right.
Will not happen.
I'll give you a 1-3 though against those 2 teams. If you're going 2-2, I'll take the under there on that one. All right, we will have.
You don't believe in Jordan Love.
What'd you say?
You don't believe in Jordan Love.
I don't believe that it's that easy to come in your first year. And I actually thought the Packers defense was really good at the end of the year.
And the offense, who do we lose? Okay, Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers was an average quarterback last year, and he's been replaced by an average quarterback that may have potential.
I'm just saying.
What it is, call a spade a spade.
I don't think you could be at that average level when you haven't played week in, week out. Like, I get it that he came in and threw 6 or 7 nice passes once, but I just don't think he can be there. I don't think that's a fair expectation for someone in their first year as quarterback. And I know he has sat behind Aaron for a long time, so he's not a typical rookie. I just don't think it's fair to have the same expectations of him as you would a veteran quarterback, right? Like, I think
top 15, a veteran quarterback that played average. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was not great last year.
No. But let's not compare it to Aaron Rodgers. Let's compare it to Geno Smith. Like, I don't think it's fair to expect Jordan Love to be Geno Smith this year. You know, Geno Smith.
I think it is.
Yeah, and I think Geno Smith. It took all his steps along the way and all the experience he gained to be able to be Geno Smith. And that's game action, that's training camp, that's life experience that I just don't think it's fair to expect that of Jordan Love. If he does that, that will be far exceeding my expectations.
Geno did not have an opportunity to sit behind a veteran like Aaron Rodgers and be in the same offense and consistently learn that offense in practice, and then all of a sudden have an opportunity to play. We've seen in small sample sizes the improvement for Jordan Love. You hear the players talking about the improvement of Jordan Love in practice. I think it's okay for us to believe that he could be a top 15 quarterback and a guy that can lead us to 7 or 8 wins next year.
Yeah, and I don't think it's fair.
Which is a step in the right direction.
I mean, if you ask me where he's going to be, I would say he will definitely be a bottom half of the league quarterback this year. And I'll be stunned.
But that means you don't believe in him.
I will be stunned, stunned if he is in the top half of the quarterbacks in the NFL this year. So absolutely stunned. We'll have
He's
our
not good to you.
Palermo's picks coming up next. Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
The NBA playoffs are finally here.
Drives in on Giannis, puts the shot up, rejected by Giannis on the second jump.
And the quest for a championship starts on Bucks Talk with Justin Garcia.
He's been their best three-point shooter so far. He's just found his niche.
Every series right here. And it starts in round one when the Bucks try to take down the Miami Heat.
Punishing dunk from the Greek Freak. Take that.
You can listen live throughout the playoffs right here on 94.5 ESPN.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
Attention, attention. More superheroes are needed. Current Electric is growing and hiring service and commercial electricians, solar panel installers, and customer service representatives. Current Electric offers 5-star tech experience with training, coaching, and support, along with competitive pay and benefits. Apply at currentelectricco.com/careers. That's currentelectricco.com/careers. Current Electric has been serving Milwaukee since 1983 and is an equal opportunity employer.
I'm with the Associate Director of Hunger Task Force, Matt King. Matt, tell me about your organization's mission.
We operate a food bank that provides healthy food absolutely free of charge to people across Wisconsin.
And as your local office technology partner, James Imaging Systems is there to assist you and your organization.
Absolutely, it's really important to work with other local businesses that give back to the community.
I imagine operating a statewide food bank requires the help of a lot of special people.
We actually rely on the help of over 15,000 community volunteers every year.
That's a lot of good people doing a lot of good work.
People can get involved in whatever way feels most comfortable to them. They can give their time, they can give their funds, and they can give their voice.
And for those interested in helping, what's the first step?
People can go to our website at www.hungertaskforce.org.
James Imaging Systems, your local office technology partner.
Fleet Farm is your one-stop shop to get your yard spring ready. Find everything you need and more from our wide selection of lawn care goods. Going on now, get 5 bags of superior colored mulch for just $10. Plus, the garden center is now open. Stop in to get your garden ready with our nursery quality plants. Look forward to green grass and a fresh garden with help from Fleet Farm, your lawn and garden headquarters.
Milwaukee has relied on Ewald Automotive to keep them on the road for almost 60 years. We've been on a mission to provide the best experience whether you're servicing your car or shopping for a new one. Ewald may span across southeast Wisconsin, but our commitment remains local. Our customers are our neighbors. We live, work, and raise our families together in the same communities. And that's why it's our goal to help you find the right car for your family.
Go to EwaldAuto.com.
Every child deserves a safe, loving, and permanent home. Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find families for children who've lingered in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
It's that time.
Yes, it's finally here.
Craig makes his picks of the week.
You can bet the house on it.
Picks of the week on Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin. Presented by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
Can't wait to see what happens next.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Oh, I mentioned it earlier. Surfer Boy Pizza. We went out to Walmart to get one of those pepperoni Surfer Boy pizzas exclusively at Walmart, exclusively from Palermo's, who is Always on the cutting edge. They are Wisconsin's hometown pizza. Make sure when you're buying any frozen pizza, it has the Palermo's brand behind it, whether that's Palermo's Screamin' Sicilian, Connie's Urban Pie, or the aforementioned Surfer Boy Pizza. Kyle, did you smuggle some Palermo's down with you to Florida? Or actually, you said you could get some down there.
Oh, no,
right?
they sell it.
Yep.
Yeah, they sell it down here in Florida, so we good.
Well,
I
let's.
might have to go to Walmart to go get that Surfer Boy.
The Surfer Boy, the crust is insane. I'm telling you, do that. Hit the Walmart and get the Surfer Boy, and then tell me what you think of the crust of the Surfer Boy pizza, inspired by the Netflix original Stranger Things. All right, NBA playoffs, Kyle. I want to hear it all from you. Take me through it all. Let's go 1 seeds down to 8 seeds. Let's go through the whole bracket. We know Denver is up 3-0 against Minnesota. Do they close that out against the T-Wolves?
They absolutely closed that out against the T-Wolves. The T-Wolves are terrible.
Okay.
Not great.
All right. So
There's
then
no
they will advance to take on the 4-5 winner. We know that is the Phoenix Suns now, leading the Clippers 3-1. Kawhi Leonard's injury on top of Paul George's injury seems to be too much for the Clippers. So is that going to be the Suns now advancing in 5?
It'll be the Suns in 5, yes.
All right.
No, 6.
Oh, okay. So the Clippers get it done in another home game.
Wait a minute.
Another game in Phoenix, you think?
Yeah, I'll stick with 6.
I don't know. I'm not trusting you on that one. Let's go to the other side of the bracket where the Los Angeles Lakers had a big first quarter en route to a 2-1 series lead over the Grizzlies. That is the play-in Los Angeles Lakers. Who gets it done there?
Is Ja coming back?
Ja came back last night and scored 45.
I didn't see the game.
Obviously, someone's
Okay.
having a little fun in Florida. But
I wanted to watch a boxing match instead.
Oh, watching the
in
boxing.
Netflix.
Everyone's into that. 36-9, the Lakers outscored the Grizzlies in the first quarter en route to that win as Ja Morant had 45. Who's advancing there?
Lakers in 7.
All right. And then they will take on the winners of Golden State, who trail 2-1. That's a fun one coming up right here on ESPN Wisconsin today as the Kings and Warriors are 2-1. Warriors won the third at home after the Kings won the first 2 at home. Who wins that series?
Warriors in 6.
Ooh, I kind of feel that too. Kind of feeling that too. All right. Eastern Conference, we know the Sixers have advanced over the Nets. They will play the winner of the Celtics and the Hawks. Who do you think wins today? That game at 6 o'clock right here on ESPN Wisconsin. I believe, right? We got that game.
Yeah.
All right, that game's coming up right here. That's a big game. Hawks won Game 3. Think Hawks even it up in Game 4 tonight?
Absolutely not. The Celtics win.
Boo. All right, the other side of that bracket have the New York Knicks tipping off in just moments at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Knicks held the Cavs to under 80 points, fewest points any team has scored in an NBA game this season. What happens today at the Garden?
I know one thing, Donovan Mitchell better win this series, so I'm going to go with the Cavs in 7.
Ooh, Cavs in 7. They will have Game 7 back at home. Today's a huge game for Cleveland. Need to win to not go down 2-1. And then we know the other matchup is going to be the Bucks in 6. Correct, Kyle?
Yes, sir!
There you have it. Bucks in 6. Those are your Palermo's picks as we look at the NBA playoffs. Kyle, how about the draft? We got to get your Palermo pick for the Green Bay Packers, who somehow you think they're going to have a top 15 quarterback, but only be, I don't know. I think if Jordan Love's as good as you say, I think in this, with their schedule, the way it looks to me, and I know that the official schedule's not out, but we know the teams, they could win 9 or 10 games the way you're talking. What do you think they do in the draft this week?
Shots fired. I think they trade back in the first round, get more draft capital so they can build up that roster.
Trade back and pick a tight end? I like that. I'm all in on that.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Kyle Wallace joining us from Florida, to DJ Stanek in studio with us. Remember, stay healthy, stay together, survive today, thrive tomorrow, don't settle. You have been listening to Sunday Karma. It's a great day of NBA basketball and Milwaukee Brewers baseball coming up from Boston. Kyle, send us out.
Peace.
Hi, it's John Reeds from Great Midwest Bank, and I've said it before. Life happens. For nearly 90 years, Great Midwest